Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
And so, are you married?
I'm single.
So you've never been married?
Oh, I've been married.
And when you, as a woman who emboldened, been raised the way you were raised, did you obey your husband?
Oh, God, no.
You did not obey him? You said, God, no. And why not?
Why would I? Why doesn't he obey me?
What?
Why wouldn't he obey me? Why? You really think a woman should obey her husband?
Right. It won't. The marriage won't work if he does. If she doesn't obey him.
Oh, okay.
Have you noticed that?
No, I haven't noticed that because I don't live in 1950.
Meaning what?
Meaning it's a very antiquated idea. You don't think women should have equal rights?
I don't know. There is no such thing as equal rights.
I don't know where you're getting your attitudes, Jesse. I invite you to join me in the 21st century. It's nice here.
Were women created to lead or to follow?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you going to run?
Yeah, you have a right.
You going to run?
You have a right to your opinion. You have a right to your opinion.
Don't run.
I thank you, Jesse. Have a nice day.
You running?
No, I'm just going to walk.
I didn't even put you on the hot seat yet.
Thank
Come
you.
back. Lisa.
Hi, thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
You too, Lisa. Amazing. Lisa Bloom ran. She gone. If you see Lisa Bloom walking down the road, ask her why did she run? What the glory? Talk to your daughter. What the?
This has to be one of my favorite shows ever. I've been watching Jesse for years, and I finally said, I should probably have him on. He had a couple of. First of all, he knows what the word retard means, which is pretty awesome. But he's also a man of great faith, and he's done amazing things to serve the community. And he's been on a talk show host. He's an author. He's a pastor, and he's a commentator. So he's done the radio and TV talk show. He was interviewed by Tucker Carlson way back in 2017. He put that up today. I remember watching that in 2017 where he said, racism doesn't exist. And he's been my guy. Like, he's my brother from another mother. I probably know more about Jesse than probably I should know about Jesse, just because of the stuff that he puts out. He walks past racial constructs. He walks past this kind of apologetics of that we live in this world where we have to go backwards in order to go forwards. And I just don't believe it. And I don't think he does either. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I want to spend as much time with him as possible. So Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe. That's amazing. And happy Men's History Month. August is Men's History Month. Happy Men's History Month.
So you grew up in Alabama.
Sweet home, Alabama. I grew up on a plantation down there, and my great-grandfather ran it, my grandfather, and so on and so on. And I grew up under the Jim Crow laws, but not once did I hear the word racism, nor did I hear that we should hate anyone. We were taught that our battle was spiritual, and that you can find good in people and bad in people, so treat people the way you would like to be treated. And it was amazing growing up there. And I'm disappointed the way my country has gone now.
If we back it up a little bit, I grew up in Washington, D.C. I was born in the 70s and the 80s. And, we had a little bit of racial conflict then, but we thought as I was growing up that we had solved it, that there wasn't any racism. Yeah. I thought it had just gone away. Like we don't have a problem with anyone. And I grew up in the hotbed of all of it. So why? Why are we going backwards? Why are we allowing people to take us backwards? And who do you think is doing it?
Number one, America should have never fallen for the lie that racism exists. This lie was made up. Excuse me. This lie was made up from what I can tell when the so-called civil rights movement started with Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesse Jackson and all those people. They brought in this idea that white people were keeping black people down and that white people were stopping the blacks from progressing. Whereas prior to that, black people were doing just fine. They had families, they had their own businesses, they went to school, they did what they wanted to do because they didn't have leaders. And so they started that civil rights movement and they started pushing this idea that white people was holding us back. And a lot of blacks fell for it, and so did whites. And then they brought in forced integration.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make people come together and do what they want them to do. And you can't make someone love you. Black America and white America would have come together naturally. And had that happened naturally, we would not have had and are having the problems that we have today. Forced integration and this so-called idea of racism is a made-up thing in order to control the people, to keep us fighting based on color and not character. And that's what's happening today. The worst thing that ever happened to the Black Joe and to America was the civil rights movement, other than abortion. It was the worst thing that ever happened.
Well, do you think that there are good players and bad players? So there was people that maybe had a good, they had good intentions, but others, like I'm not a fan of Jesse Jackson. I'm certainly not a fan of the modern day civil rights leaders. But do you think that they were hijacked a little bit, and that's why the early leaders were assassinated?
No, it wasn't good intention behind that at all. Because everyone knows, and especially men, they know that you're not supposed to put another person over you. Men are not created to have physical leaders over them. And Jackson and Martin Luther King and all those guys knew that because they didn't have leaders. Who was leading their life? They were telling the blacks what to do and how to think and how to act. But who was telling them how to think, what to do, how to act? This was planned. It was meant to be this way. And that's why after 70 to 80 years, they have not changed it. They see that it's not working. At least it's not working for the people. It's working for them, the so-called leaders. It's working for them because they're getting money and power, so-called power, while we're fighting one another. So it wasn't, they knew exactly what they were doing, and that's why they keep it going now.
So let's go all the way back to Margaret Sanger, right?
Yes.
And you could start to see where the melding of generations, blacks and whites, were fighting on the same battlefield. They were, we fought to end slavery. Abraham Lincoln was a huge proponent of making sure we ended slavery. They assassinated him. I don't know who the they is. It depends on which side of the fence you're on. But then we moved forward and we started to see this melding. We started to see this kind of unity happening in the United States under this ethos or idea of what the country represented. Then along comes this person, Margaret Sanger, and others. I'll just talk about her for a minute, and creates a plan. Said, okay, we're going to do Planned Parenthood. So it's the opposite of Planned Parenthood. It's planned death.
Yeah.
Right? So they lie. They built this deal, this eugenics model to kill off Black people specifically.
Yes.
And in the 70s, we had leadership in our country that was complicit in that. We passed Roe versus Wade, which, by the way, was a fake case. If you go back and you review that case, now we see the genocide of 70 million babies. Nearly two-thirds of those were Black babies. It's genocide, and yet we're sitting here having the conversation, and we debate the ridiculous, which is one of the reasons why I love every time you get on, because you don't debate the ridiculous, you just call it ridiculous.
I grew up knowing and being taught, but knowing that it was good versus evil. It's not all this noise that people make about the issue. Yeah. It's good versus evil. And you write about Margaret Sanger, and when she first started the whole abortion thing, as you just said, it was to get rid of the blacks down in the South because the blacks were having children, having babies down there, too many babies, they say. And originally, I believe Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson were against abortion. And so what Margaret Sanger did, she was like, well, who is the loudmouth preacher in the black folks, in the black community? And at that time, it was Martin Luther King Jr. And so she gave Martin Luther King Jr. the Margaret Sanger Awards. And from that point forward, the whole thing changed. They started being for it rather than against it. And it's just been all ego fulfillment ever since. And I remember a while back, we used to go down to the abortion mills here in LA on a Saturday, and we were trying to encourage the young women, the black women, to don't have an abortion. And it was shocking, man, to see 15-year-old, 16-year-old on having abortion. They were like lined up like they were going to a barbecue place or something, and they were killing their children in the womb. And I was just stunned to see that happen. And their leadership did not care. No complaint, no problem. But if white people did something, they had a fight with the blacks, all of a sudden they come riding in and they care about that. But they did not care about the killing of the unborn child.
Why is it? Why is it there's this selective rage or, selective humanity that we seem to have, and it's created. It's a narrative that gets created largely by the media, largely by groups of, I'll call them radical leftists, because that's what I think they are.
Right.
Just demonic people. So they create this chaos, and then they walk away after the fight gets started. But when they walk over here and start talking about the degradation of education and the family and the black community, they don't say anything about it. It's like, oh, don't come in and talk about our community. We'll police ourselves. But you're not going to have any white people that kill black people, even though that's statistically almost insignificant in the numbers.
They create the problem, and then once the situation starts, they come back in to try to pretend that they're trying to save you. They pretend that they're helping you after they create the problem. And they're only doing it for one reason, two reasons only: power, so-called power, and wealth. And then they know in their mind, they believe that white people are the one with the money and the so-called power positions and things. And they know that white people have the money. And that's why they go after whites in order to take what white people have, because black people don't have any money. Well, they do now, but they don't have
I know a lot of black people have money. So.
Yeah, they do. They do now. Just ask Oprah. But and Obama. But they go after the white people because they have material things, and they run different businesses and things like that. But they don't care what the blacks are doing, because the blacks at the time didn't have any money or anything going for themselves. And then they have managed to make white people originally they made white people feel guilty about the situation with the blacks. Mm-hmm. And white people like, oh, I feel so bad. I feel so sorry for you blacks. Here's a program, here's this and that. And then they got to the point where they started to really push this idea of racism, and they would use white people as an example. If white people spoke out against or didn't agree with black people, they would go after white people businesses and things like that, and they will hold them up in front of the cameras and say, if you don't go along with the blacks, if you don't give them what they want, white people, this is what's going to happen to you. And they would show how white people, businesses are being taken away, they are put out of business and everything. They remind me of the Allah Akbar people, the Taliban, when they want to cut your head off, because, they cut your head off and they have an audience to show them, if you don't follow us, this is what's going to happen to you. And that's what the so-called black and the liberal leaders are doing in order to control the people.
So how do we fight? I mean, look, we can go back. We can look at in the 80s you had Rodney King. Then you had you have all these different examples that, I mean, some of them you could argue that it was just bad behavior, right? There was bad people acting bad.
Yeah.
But it became the poster child for this happens every day. That is just, you know, basically an entire force of police that are out there just brutalizing the Black community. Now, in pockets, that could be true, right? And
Right.
LA in the 80s was pretty tough. DC was pretty tough too. But it's not really the true. We got away from character. We got away from, you know, judging people by what they do.
Yeah.
And now we just put everyone in one big basket. Everyone is R. Kelly, which is just not true.
Right.
Right.
Well, we need Chief Derek Gates back. Bring him back to LA and he'll show them how to get it right. Because back in those days, Chief Gates didn't put up with the mess. He didn't, when you did the crime, you do the time. And he was tough. And they tried desperately to make him look like a racist to stop him from doing their job. And now it's so bad, as you know, Joe, is that they have defunded the police. They have fired police officers for doing their job and their jobs, and they've taken away bail bond. And if someone commit a crime, they can stay in the neighborhood. And if any witnesses to that crime dare to speak up, their lives are at risk. And so they'll set it up where there is almost no way out. But there is a way out. You got to overcome fear. Anyone who has fear would never function well in life because human nature, human beings are evil until their hearts change from anger to love, from resentment to love. They are evil and they would do whatever they can to destroy you. And it's really, really bad in my country right now. And they got everybody fighting against the white man or white people, pretending that the white person or white people are the problems when they're really not. We got to stop fighting one another and vote out those people in government who are pushing this type of thing for a personal gain. But as long as we're fighting one another on both sides, all we're going to ever have are fights, and generations will continue to go by, die off, and next generation start, and the fights continue. We got to change the fight and get rid of the people that we have put into office. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse and not better.
So you talk about an age-old problem that chaos favors the op, never favors the people. And there's obviously people behind this that want to have this conflict, that want us fighting at each other so they can actually, it's almost like a gladiatorial contest. They're like watching us fight while they eat, grapes sitting on the stands. And by the way, the problem is not just the Democrats. We have Republicans that have betrayed us over and over and over again, which one of the things that I've been talking about for at least the last 6 years, was the fact that we have fraudulent elections. They're worse where you are in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You just had a mayoral race, right? And we saw as Spencer Pratt's numbers flipped and a no-name came in and got the nod for the runoff election. That
was the darndest thing I ever seen. You go to bed at night on the night of election knowing that, what's his name?
Pratt, yeah.
Pratt, yeah. That he had a major chance to win. And you wake up the next morning, they said somebody out of nowhere, no one cared about. I doubt if anyone voted for.
Nobody even knew her name. They're like, wait, what? Who is this person?
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she is in there. I'm like, So I don't know what we're going to do in November when the election really happens, because you cannot trust at all the voting system, because it is not working for the people. It's working to get the people in that they want. I can't even believe that Karen Basque, this female, has nothing going on for herself. Zero.
No.
All she does is pretend that she's helping the homeless while crime is out of control. Homelessness is still out of control. Everything is bad. And they voted her back in. I could not believe that. The people get what they deserve.
Yeah, this is where I think that the reason why they keep people apart is, and I'll just say it. Look, I've spent the last 6 years fighting this election fraud deal. I'm a system architect. Right?
Yeah.
I have a couple tech companies. The podcast I do so I can keep people really fired up under taking back control of their lives. But the machines they're bunk. I mean, the mail-in ballots it's gas to the machine. They've manufactured the ability to steal any election they want, from a county commissioner all the way up to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
We can see it. I mean, it's not like we're not stupid people, right? We can see it.
We're like, we see what you're doing, but they act like they don't know that we can see it. And they just don't care. This last election that we had, I personally went to vote, and I didn't have an ID with me. Well, I had my ID, and I asked the lady at the table, you want to see my ID? She's like, no, baby, we don't need to see your ID. I'm like, but how do you know that I'm who I say I am? Oh, no, what's your address? And they asked for an address, and several people I know did that, and the people didn't even want to see the IDs at all.
Well, so I think we should be able to walk into the bank and say that our name is Mark Zuckerberg, and we'd like to make a withdrawal for $2 million.
I'm telling you, man. What a mess, huh?
To buy a beer, got to have an ID.
Absolutely.
Car, got to have everything. You have to have an ID.
So, Joe, do you believe we can change that or no, the voting thing?
You know, we had the Save America Act, but who betrayed us there? John Thune, Mike Johnson. I mean, the same people that, say that they're here to help. I mean, we had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and yet it's been anonymity for the last 2.5 years. I mean, they're basically betraying us. 85% of the people want to put to rest what's happening with the election systems, right?
Yeah.
But the people that are in positions of power got put there by fraudulent means. So why would they want to change a system that puts the weakest and the most ineffective people in positions of leadership? I mean, they are, what we're dealing with right now, in my opinion, is some of the weakest, most pathetic people in leadership at every level, including the judiciary, including the, what we're seeing happen in the bureaucracy. And they want to keep themselves in power. They want to keep themselves eating while the American people suffer. Right. So
absolutely.
I think we can solve it, but it's going to take force. And look, I say force all the time. People go, oh, you're calling for violence. I was like, listen, we can have one of two ways that we get this done. We can have force, which is basically applied force, and it might take a couple pushes and shoves to get it done, or we can have war. But the way that things are going right now with the American people, we're not eating. Our debt's at $39 trillion. They've created race wars and now ethnicity wars. We're fighting each other, Muslims, Christians, and Jews. It's like they took an ant farm and they just shook it in the middle of Lebanon, the 1970s, and here we are now. Everybody hates everybody.
Yeah, they and in all honesty, at one time when I was 18 or so, I was a Democrat. I moved here and I voted as a Democrat.
Say it's not true. Say it's not true.
I was black. I didn't know any better. I did not know any better. I believed the lie that, the Democrats love the black people, right? And then I did, after a little time went by, and I did some research on the Democratic Party, and I realized the Democrats don't care about blacks at all.
No.
We've been lied to. And so I read the Republican platform, and they were about country, individuality, God, and those things, right? So I switched party. But now I have to tell you, Joe, if it wasn't for Donald Trump, the great white hope, I would not have anything to do with the Republican Party at all. The only person that keep me involved in voting for the Republican, and then I vote for Donald Trump, but it's only because of Trump. Because the Republican Party, in all honesty, is no different than the Democratic Party. It's the same party.
Uniparty.
Yeah.
All
what
right,
a mess, huh?
So what? Oh, we have Jesus though, brother. So we're good.
Yeah, we need Jesus. We need him now.
And I believe that we're in that final stage. I don't believe in the rapture deal that we're all the way there, but I think that God's given us a choice. He's like, I can wipe it out, or you guys can fix it. I'm gonna let you step out there. It's a test. Are you willing to fix it? Are you willing to be courageous enough to stand out and call evil evil and push it back into the hole it came from?
Yeah.
And we just have to find men that can stand together.
I was about to say, and you're right about that. If we could find 10 men, 20 would be nice, but 10 that will overcome fear and to hell with what the world think about them, let them call them whatever they want, and get up and stand up for what is right, we can change this country overnight. But they have put fear in men of all races, really. And the men are not standing up and following that order of God and Christ, Christ and man, man over woman, women over children. The men are not standing up, and the men are intentionally being attacked because they represent God, even though some of them, turn away from God, but they represent God, and men are hated because evil can't get to God, so he goes to his sons, and evil try to destroy his son. And that's what's happening right now. We got to get over the fear. Fear is an illusion, and it's only there to stop you from functioning in life. You got to get over the fear.
I tell my kids, right? There's only two things that you're promised in this world. That is, you will live if you're alive, and you will die. That's it. And they're like, no, you're promised you have to pay taxes. I was like, maybe. So people have proven they can get past that too. The only thing you can't run away from is that once you're born, you're born.
That's right.
And then you're going to die. And nobody makes it out of this life alive. The only person that did that was Jesus Christ.
Right.
2,000 years ago. We look at all the, I look at it from a biblical standpoint too. And I know I'm going to switch over here on this for you a little bit, but Jesus died at the age of approximately 35.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yes.
It's been 2,026 years.
Amazing.
We're in a very precarious place. They've now changed AD and BC to something completely different. I don't know if you've looked at that, which is crazy.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Oh yeah, it's C. What is it? CDE. Hold on a second. Let me find it real quick. BC and AD. I should know this by heart. I was having a big conversation about it. And they changed it to make it secular. Let me see what it changed it to. Oh, Common Era. So BCE and CE, Common Era, and before the Common Era.
What? No.
It was tied to the birth of Jesus. Over 500 people witnessed him walking 3 days later, showed him his scars.
Yeah.
And 2020 years later, we've allowed evil to walk into our communities and dictate, what it is that we believe and don't believe. And they're stripping away our society of all signs of God. And we're wondering why God's not standing up for us right now.
I never, growing up, coming from Alabama, walking down the road, I never imagined, you just don't think growing up that something like that can happen in the United States of America. It just I didn't know, to be honest with you, I didn't know that human beings were that evil that they would do something like that. I understand it now, but I didn't know it then. And one other thing I want to mention, Joe, this blew my mind, and it's still blowing my mind. I did not know that one day in America, we all know that the Allahu Akbar religion, the Muslim religion,
Akbar. Hijab Bob religion. Okay, keep going.
I did not know, and we all know, I grew up knowing this. We all know that they see America as the big Satan, the great Satan, and they see Israel as a small Satan. And they've always been saying, even in their little Quran book, you can deceive the infidels, you can befriend them, you do lie to them, whatever you want, in order to conquer them, right? And they see us as the big Satan. I did not know that America would one day vote in Allahu Akbar people in our government. And like this guy Mondami over there in New York, and some
Jesse, they didn't though.
I'm sorry?
They didn't. These are fraudulent elections. Like
right.
I could show you stuff and you would go, whoa, Joe, I just want to be able to use my iPhone. And I would say, Jesse, I briefed counsel for Pompeo on Jan 5 or Jan 6 of 2021. I was at the State Department briefing Pompeo's counsel. He snuck out the back door. I predicted the outcome of the Jan 5, 2021 Senate runoff race in Georgia. I knew exactly what the percentages would be, what would happen. Systems would have to come down, they have to come back up. I told him exactly what was going to happen. The Republicans would be winning. All of a sudden, it would flip when the systems went down, and boom, both Democrats are going to win. I met with a bunch of people from the State Department. I met with NSA, the DHS, all of them. And they're like, well, how do you know? And I was like, just watch. And I was right.
Amazing. That's amazing, man.
And yet we have mountains of evidence and no one does they do nothing. They do nothing with it. Nothing.
Do you know if it's true that over in New York, educated white females voted for Mondami?
No, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
It did not happen.
No.
Really?
40% of the vote 40% minimum of the vote in New York, fraudulent. They can't even the Board of Elections in New York can't come to a conclusion that Mondami won.
That's amazing.
So what are we doing here?
I know. If we don't get the voting thing working properly, I don't know how we're going to get out of this mess, because they're putting all kinds of people who are against America in our government.
Yeah.
And once they get into government, they can make all kind of laws that they want.
Judges?
Right. They can do what they want to destroy us.
So why then? Why are we at that place? You know, and this is why, I mean, I get to this place where I go, okay, most Americans that I talk to, I walk down the street and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, tell me, do you agree with all the stuff that's going on? People have varying opinions because they have varying access to information, and they get all their information in a 45-minute or 45-second, tweet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But most people, when you start talking to them about that's happening around them, like, are your taxes too high? They're like, my taxes are too damn high. I'm like, okay. There's a lot of things that we can actually agree on.
Yeah.
Right? Most people are not retarded.
Right.
But when you have social media that is filled with bots and they can basically manufacture out of nowhere conversations that don't exist and make it normalized, like cutting off body parts and calling a boy a girl, then you're at a disadvantage, because most good people also don't want to talk about the ridiculous. They're like,
I know.
Leave me out of the conversation.
Yeah. I can't believe we're having a conversation. These people are having what they think is a real conversation about what is a male and what is a female. How do you have that type of conversation and think, I mean, how do you have that in public and expect people to just say, oh, yeah, you're right. That's not a boy. That's not a girl. This is it. It just, how do you have that kind of conversation and sleep at night?
How did we get to a place where cosplaying turned into real life, that you can literally just change yourself into whatever you want, and that we would actually let them do it to our children, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Like, we're letting them actually do weird stuff to our children.
Yeah. Well, parents don't even protect their own children nowadays. And one of the reasons they don't, one reason is that if they love their children, they would not even send them to these schools, knowing that all this mess is going on. They will make whatever sacrifices they needed to make to not send their children, especially to a public school, number one. And then secondly, they're afraid to say no because they don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called names. They literally take the name calling serious. And so they're afraid to be, you took your child out of the school because you're homophobic or transphobic and all that, man. They prefer to pretend they're being light than to protect their own children. And so they let these people do this to their children.
Look, I've been called everything in the book.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, they've called me everything. None of it's true, but they use dog whistles and they use it regularly. I mean, they'll call a black man a racist, Uncle Tom.
Yeah, the
Or-
N-word.
Yeah, and not have any and not say anything about it. It's okay. It's okay because he's not on my side.
That's why if you love what's right with all your heart, soul, and might, you should not give one thought to what some people say about you or call you, because they only call you names because they're evil and they want what they want and they're trying to stop you. But if you take any concern about what someone call you, you're not going to be able to function in this life. You won't be able to do anything because you're worried about what people say about you or what they call you. Christ did not give one iota of a thought about what people thought or said about him. He was here to do a job. He did his job. He brought the message. He told us how to get back to the Father. And the people that wanted to control the people hated Christ for doing that. And that's why they took him out, because they didn't want him to wake up the people. They wanted control over the people, so they took him out. But Christ never thought about, oh, Lord, I feel so bad. They call me names. They're against me. Lord, I can't handle the name calling. My ego hurts so bad. Why, Lord? And he didn't think about that. So men and women, but men of God who truly love what's right, cannot give 1 second of a thought as to what someone called them, because that will stop you if you worry about that. You should not even think about it, and then no one can stop you.
Well, I got to tell you, I could care less what anybody says about me. And I think that bothers a lot of people, including my wife, because then she's like, maybe you should push the pause button. I go, I can't. I don't know how to. I'm not going to leave this life with my children having a worse opportunity, my grandchildren having a worse opportunity, my future generations than what I had. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. We need more men like you. They don't make them anymore.
We just need to. We're starting to find our tribe, bro. We're starting to find it. We're starting to find it. We're starting to find this. You started an organization called Bond in LA, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that, because I mean, this is a spiritual kind of revival that's happening, right? It's not kind of. It is a spiritual revival happening right now, and we've got to find a way to kind of bring them, make them magnets for good men that have courage.
Well, we just celebrated our 9th year of White History Month. July was White History Month.
I watched your video.
July just feels white.
I put up videos on social media that you had in July, and I got just the radical lefts. The ants came out of nowhere, and it was awesome.
But we started my nonprofit Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, 36 or 37 years ago. And the reason we started, because when I woke up and I realized we had been used by the so-called black leadership, black people, and the Democratic Party and all that, and a lot of blacks who were very angry, and they still are, I wanted them to know that it's not racism that's holding them back. The white man is not their problem, that it's the anger. They got to overcome the anger. They got to forgive their mothers for turning them away from their fathers. And they have to forgive their fathers for not protecting them from the mothers. And then to get rid of all of their leaders, you should only have God over you. God in Christ, Christ a man, man of a woman. And so we wanted to get the message out to the blacks that their problem starts at home. White people had nothing to do with it. And Jesse Jackson and others are using them for personal gain. And so we started that, and the message was so powerful or interesting that I started to appear on Phil Donahue, Geraldo, and different shows. And so the word started to get out. And then I started hearing from white people and Mexicans and everybody. They're like, look, we have the same problem at home. We don't have, our father's not there for us, or he's not protecting us. We have this anger. and they want to be a part of it. So we open it up to all people, men and women now, but all people, because the problem is a spiritual battle. And now we tutor with men and women around the world by phone, Skypes, or walking in-house. We have a daily radio show. I have the fallenstate.tv. We help men find jobs or start businesses. As I just said, we have White History Month in July because we want, if it wasn't for white men, there would be no America. White men founded and created, with the help of God, the greatest country on the planet. And it doesn't make sense that other white people are just allowing these people to come in and destroy what they have built. And so we're trying to wake up white men and white women to that. Now we have Men's History Month. We tutor, we counsel, just a whole bunch of things. But a lot of guys have started their own business or have gotten up and found jobs. But most importantly, they drop the anger by forgiving their mothers for turning them away from the fathers and the father for not protecting them. And once they overcome their anger, because salvation is of the heart, Christ said to love God with all your heart, soul, and might, and to love your enemy. Don't hate. And when you don't hate, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Nothing can stop you. So we're now showing men and women around the world how to overcome that anger. One last thing, we have the every first Thursday night, we have men's meeting for men only. And on the third Thursday night of the month, for ladies only, and then Sunday morning meetings. And we are heard around the world. You can go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or JLP Talk. Am I right, Nick?
Yeah,
JLP Talk.
So, by the way, I came from an interracial family.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I'm one of 8.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, and
what's your interracial? What does that mean?
So my father left when I was young. My dad came in and raised us for a certain period of time. I've forgiven my father for his part in walking out, but my dad raised me. I left home early. I'm one of 8. My brother was murdered by a police officer in 2017.
Amazing.
I mean, I grew up in a very poor family. I've done really well. I've been blessed immensely.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why I was blessed, and it's one of the things that I was watching a video that you did years ago, and that is letting go of the anger.
Yes.
And forgiving. Like how do you forgive people around you? And I have to do it every day. And over the last 6 years, it's gotten even worse because you go through persecution, you go through them basically saying things about you and defaming you.
Right.
And you have to take forgiveness to a whole new level. And you don't want to. You do get caught up. It's easy to get caught back up in the, oh man, I hate this person. Right. And you shouldn't.
That's right.
It's difficult.
There is never, ever, 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 but never, 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 ever, for any reason, a reason to be angry. Anyone who is angry is separated from God. Anger is not the nature of God. God's nature is love. Love your enemy. Loving God first and love your enemy. And if you want to completely overcome anger and never have to deal with it again, where it's completely taken away from you, you got to forgive your mother. Your mother has recreated you in her image. She was angry. Her mother made her angry. And she did the best she could. But she couldn't help it because she had not overcome the anger herself. And as a child, she imposed that on you without you realizing what was going on. And so you become like what you hate. I'm sorry?
How'd you know that about me?
It happens to every boy and girl.
You just said it to me and I was like, oh, that hurt. Oh.
Yeah. I promise you, Joe, forgive your mother. Hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. I become like you. And I realize now that you did your best, and I'm wrong for holding it against you. And don't ask her for forgiveness because mothers don't forgive. But when no human beings don't forgive, we apologize for being angry, for judging, And
Yeah.
God will forgive us as we forgive others. Go to your mother, forgive her, and whether she cry, because you know when she cries, she's lying, right? But when she's crying, she's lying.
lying. Yeah. And when she's not crying, she's still lying.
That's right. And go forgive her. And I'm sorry, mother, for resenting you. And God will forgive you no matter what she does. God will forgive you and forgive your father for not protecting you from her. Your father loved you, and he doesn't know how to deal with your mother. He married his mama. Every man married their mother, and the warfare continued after generation to generation. But you forgive her.
I did not marry my mother. I've been married 24 years.
Right on.
I did not marry my mother.
But forgive her, Joe, and God will forgive you. And don't let the devil tell you, oh, you're going to hurt her feelings. She's going to cry. That's on her. It has nothing to do with you. She does that in order to control you. But I'm sorry for resenting you, and God will forgive you. And I promise you, if you do this, every spirit of anger will be taken away from your heart, and you will have a renewed heart. And it doesn't matter what happens out there in the world, you will not be mad at anyone. You speak up, but you would never get angry again because you won't have that spirit of anger in your heart. Your heart will change. But every human being, no matter who it is or how much they have or don't have, they got to forgive their mothers if they want to completely overcome the anger so that they could be themselves and not the spirit of the mother.
Man,
Are you going to forgive your mother?
I'm going to think about it. I'm going to put that aside. Yes. Yes. Look, if the last 6 years has been, I like to say the before Jesus and after Jesus. 2007 was a turning point in my life.
Right.
I speak Arabic. I spent 6.5 years in the Middle East and Africa negotiating in really bad areas and doing some pretty cool stuff. Came back, started a company, had some great success. I mean, amazing success. Like God's blessed my life in ways that I can't even imagine. Now, fast forward, the last 6 years, I was the darling to everyone. I was on every board, national board. I ran a ridiculous tech company. I went back into it. I stepped away for 3 years. And so watching my community suffer,
right,
is like watching my little brother suffer, or my sister. I mean, I take to heart 1 John 3:16, the other John 3:16, where it says that, God gave up his only son, and so that we should be willing to lay down our lives for our brothers, right?
right.
That's a real thing for me. Like there's no part of me that fakes that. I go right to the front. I'll take the first bullet. I want to be the first one. I am my brother's keeper. I live that life. But the last 6 years has made me angry.
Well,
I've had people steal millions from me. I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot.
Where you don't know what a real blessing is until you forgive. When you forgive your mother, and it's not like you had a lot, you've gone through a lot, but you don't know what a real blessing is until your whole heart changed and your mind is renewed. Yeah. And I highly, do what you want, of course, but I highly recommend shaking in your boots. You face your mother and forgive her. Don't ask her to forgive you. You forgive her, and God will forgive you. And you really see what a real blessing is. And you will own your world. You will be in charge of your world and the universe, and nobody or nothing will be able to stop you because you and God will be one. But if you don't forgive, it's not going to happen. You got to face your mama, Joe.
I feel like I have to negotiate, though, just a little bit. Does that mean I have to talk to her after I forgive her, or can I let that be the...
That's a good question. Once you forgive her, you will no longer have guilt or anything. You will no longer have anger. You will no longer have guilt. You will no longer be controlled. So you will be in charge of your own life. And if you want to talk to her, you would. If not, you won't. But you will be in control, and not by emotions, but by love, real love. And you will be in charge. You don't have to communicate with her at all. and you will feel just fine because you won't resent her. You won't have that anger. But you got to shake it in your boots, though. You got to and face your mother. The hardest thing in the world, what most people do, men and women, is to face their mothers. They resent their mothers and as a result of resenting their mothers, they're afraid of their mothers. And the devil tells you got to hurt her feeling, or she may yell, or how will she handle this? And you believe in the lie of the thought. Did you know? And so in Christ, God said that all who were born of the flesh, who were born through the woman, must be born of the Father. You must be born again. And you're never going to overcome the spirit of the woman until you forgive her, your mother. So shaking in your boots, Joe, if you want to be free, you got to forgive.
I'm the guy that literally takes, I love taking good advice that gets me to a place where I can have abundance.
Right on.
And abundance of just sleep would be nice, right? Just being able to sleep and not have that burden. So
once you forgive, no matter what the issues of the day that you have to deal with, at night you're gonna sleep like a baby. Yeah. It's gonna blow your mind, and you'll wake up the next morning a brand new day, a brand new start. But you got to forgive so that you could be free and here. Did you know, because of time here, did you know that all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything?
Do I know?
Did you know that all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything?
All thoughts?
All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything.
I tell you that rings true on the lies that are told about people around me. But because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what other people think.
Yeah,
I don't. Right on. It doesn't really spend a lot of time in my brain. I just want to figure out how to solve the problem.
And who are you, Joe?
I am a. Man, that is a tough question because I want to answer it on the spiritual side, then I want to answer it on the warrior side, right? I'm a warrior. I'm waiting for the fight. I'm waiting for whenever the fight comes. I know God's going to use me however he wants to use me.
Okay. So you're a warrior, you say?
Oh, I'm a warrior for sure.
But that's what you do and what you're willing to do. But who are you?
I'm a man that pursues truth at all costs and protects people in my community. I'm my brother's keeper.
Okay, so you're a protector. You're your brother keeper, but who are you? You're telling me what you do and blah, 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 but who are you? I understand what you do, and I understand you fight for your brothers and all that, but who are you? Not what you do or blah, 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 but who are you?
I'm a child of God.
That's who you belong to, but who are you?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. Who am I? Because I was just sitting outside, sitting in the sun, saying it's going to be a great interview. I wonder what's going to happen in the interview. Lord, just make this interview really good because I don't want it to disappoint me. That's a good question. Who am I?
Yeah, you told me who you belong to. You told me you protect people.
I didn't even tell you about my mother. You brought that up, which got a little bit freaky.
And you told me, what you do and all that, but you didn't tell me who you are.
I'm Joe. Like
that's your name.
I'm Joe.
That's your name.
Okay. I'm a man.
That's what you are in the physical.
Okay.
But who are you?
Who am I? Man, I thought I gave you all the answers. I don't really have anything left in my stable.
Because of time, I want to tell you.
Yeah.
When you discover who you're not, the real you will start to remember who you are. And I want you to know, and if you start really paying attention, you'll remember who you are. You forgot who you are, when you were traumatized by your mother, you became angry. As a kid, you knew who you were, and you knew God, and you knew who you were. But when you were traumatized, as all of us, every human being, when they're traumatized by their mothers, by becoming angry, they forget who they are, and they take on a false identity. I want you to know, Joe, you're not your name, you're not your past, you're not your future, you're not what you do, you're not what you've done, you're not your thoughts, you're not your body, you're not your emotions. When you discover those things, the real you will appear, where you can clearly see who you're not. You got to pay attention to that.
Mm.
You're not what you do or what you have done. You're not what others think about you or what you think about them.
I'm
You're
not
none
gay.
of those. What?
I said I'm not gay.
You're not gay. You're none of those things. John, you say I got to run because I got an appointment here, but you say that you were raised. You say you interracial or something?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you?
I was raised in an interracial family, black and white.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had
All
a
family
black
things.
stepfather or something?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd call us that, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you know black people then.
Well, yeah,
You may not know who you are, but you know black people.
very well. I got a
That's
lot.
right.
My family has been. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that I'm comfortable. I mean, I grew up in a hard place, man. I grew
Right.
up having to go through some stuff and sold
What a
drugs at a
mess.
young age. So, but I came through it. I mean, I was an athlete. That's why, there's a lot of things that I learned in my life that most people have never learned.
Have you forgiven your real father for not being there for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you tell him?
He's easy to talk to. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easier to talk to the fathers than it is to mothers because mothers are on an ego trip and they can't admit that they're wrong.
Yeah, that's true. The worst part about this is that you brought up something that I had been thinking about, but there's I don't. My she's a nutball.
All mothers are nutballs.
Yeah, well, this one's a little more nuttier than most.
That's what every child thinks.
I'm a grown man. I tell you what.
Every adult child thinks that their mother is worse than the other one, but they're all the same. Mothers don't have love. They only have hate, and they call that love. And that's why you got to forgive them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Joe, I got to run.
Hey, brother, it was great being with you. It was
It
amazing.
was amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again.
Yes, sir. Will you let me know when you forgive your mother?
Yeah, see that might. Yeah, yes, I will. Yes, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm going to consider it.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to consider it.
You already know that you resent her and you know that it's wrong to resent. What is else there is to consider? God said, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you must go and forgive, and I will forgive you and draw you in. You cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven within until you forgive.
Man, powerful. All right, I'll do it.
Let me know.
All right. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Joe, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Great having you on.
All right. Take care now.
You guys don't know how much of a treat it was to have Jesse on here today. First of all, we weren't talking about that. That wasn't even on I had other things that I wanted to talk to him about related to what's happening politically, and whether we're talking about what's happening in the Black community now or the institutional rot that's been placed in that environment. These are all powerful things that, I wasn't expecting him to bring up the mother card. And you guys have been with me for 6 years. Some of you have been with me since the beginning. And so, from my standpoint, that when he brought that out, I was like, who gave him the cue card? Who gave him the cue card? SKSCOM KD says, I read a book called The Personality Tree and discusses the idea, who are you, not what you've become. Yeah, I that book was literally put in front of me not that long ago. So maybe I'll try that, to watch that as well. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to take a commercial break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to you, but I want to I really want to dig into some very difficult subjects. I feel like I'm getting to the place where I have this ultimate calm. And the calmingness is just when you get to a place where you just, you accept what's happening. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree that it's good. But you got to accept it. And, I'm struggling with what, the administration, what President Trump is doing right now, and hoping. I mean, hope is the antidote to depression. Hoping that it's going to work out. But the hard part is that when I see the mechanisms around me that are operating in such a way where you can see the evil, you can almost, it's like oozing out of certain situations. It becomes very difficult not to want to fight back against it. And what Jesse said was interesting, because I've actually took it a few days and said, look, I don't want to get angry anymore. I don't want to get mad over things that frankly, it doesn't help me to get angry about those things. But I am angry. Make no mistake, I'm angry. And so when he brought up, having a conversation, say, you forgive your mother, regardless of the concept, the circumstances around it, I do get to that place where I have to listen. Like when you ask God a question, he gives you an answer. He may not give it to you right then. He may give it to you when you're on a podcast with Jesse Lee Peterson. And so it was amazing what he said, and it was more amazing the fact that I could have that conversation. So we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we are going to talk about Candace Owens. That's right. We're going to talk about Candace Owens. We're going to talk about Candace Owens, and we're going to talk about the fact that there's a lot wrong. But we're right. Like, we're right. What's not right is the radical left, is the establishment, is this narrative that they've created. That's wrong. That's a lie. And we know it's a lie. And we walk around and they want to negotiate with it. And they've learned not just dog whistles. They've learned how to manipulate and ask questions that you couldn't answer in a 1 minute. And they'll say, just give me the data right now. Just give it to me. Give me your proof. Give me your proof. They know they can't. So these are manufactured questions by manufactured people who have manufactured intentions to do harm to the community. And as I went through this whole thing with Candace Owens and listening to the interview that she had with what's that guy's name? Andrew something or other, Andrew Wilson, on Tyler Robinson's murder. I finally got to the place where I figured out why we can't have consensus. Even on our own side, we can't have consensus. Because we pick winners and losers. I went and watched the entire interview from end to end, Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson. And I tried to keep score. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We got some other stuff to talk about too, but we're going to get into that particular conversation. So stay with us and check out this message.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, All of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want to do closings.
Well, I also would just, if I may ask a question, which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah, can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But I want to
can you
make sure
name
that we
one?
have them listed.
Yeah, but like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following
Is that
the case.
it? That's the
Yeah.
question. You're
Yeah,
just not
but,
following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like,
All right.
can you tell me one
Then let's do the
charge
counter.
that he's...
You can really, no, this is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play
Yeah.
clips out of context,
Yeah.
put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the
This
question.
is fair.
Can
Name
you
all 7 since you've been following the case.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like.
Name all 7.
And I
Can you
I
name
think
all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries
Okay.
a death sentence
So
in the
murder.
state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering, and the
What's
final
the specific charges though?
that is them: obstruction of justice,
Both of
obstruction
those?
of justice, witness tampering, witness tampering.
Okay, and there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why he's being charged.
No,
with it.
just the charges and then 7.
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it.
I think your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked you about. If you
Sure.
guys want to pull that up, just to confirm. for
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness, and count 7.
Violent
I said offense in the presence of
in
a
front of
minor.
a child.
I did notice something. I just was curious about. If I'm just wondering, when you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to take it.
Let's see
if anyone was texted at all during this debate.
You give me permission. So
You
I'm
have
looking at
full
the- I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go through my
names.
phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
so
a compliment.
He's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission. I'm
Yes.
just going to read 3 of them
Yes.
to 1132 because after that, I don't need to read it.
And you know their texts. Could have been Telegram. Could have been something.
All
like
I
that.
have is Signal. You can check that too. I only have Signal. I don't need to I
Okay.
deeply care about this case. I don't need to pretend
I get
to
it.
know
If you
stuff that
deeply
I
care
don't
about
know.
the case,
Yeah.
I just, I have my other question is about the steakhouse receipt.
Steakhouse receipt. I went through and I watched the entire interview. Something's happened over the last 30 days that made me just like start digging in and looking at things a little differently. They went after Tucker Carlson. They've called him an anti-Semite. They've called him that he's a bad guy. And all he's doing is talking about Jesus. And I go back in time, and I'm not saying that Tucker Carlson is Jesus, and I'm not saying that at all, but he just talks about Jesus. And, he's been an honorable man his entire career. This is a guy that got accosted by a radical leftist at a park in New York City. He was there fishing. Perfectly legal. This guy comes out of just asks him what he's doing, and he's fishing. Literally fishing. And normally a man would stand up and say, some choice words to the guy, but not Tucker. No, he's as calm as can be. And so as I started looking at all the stuff related to Candace Owens, and it's not uncommon for me to be it's not uncommon for me to be a antagonist on things, because I look into I watch everything. Sorry, I just had my wife call me, sent me a text message. So I want to make sure that I'm following things right. Hold on. Make sure I understand this right here. Okay. All right. Everything's fine. That's good. But I will put something up that's related to Candace. Everyone's like, oh, she's crazy. And I was like, all right. She became crazy because her friend Charlie Kirk died. Now, at the same time, I don't agree with what she says about Erica Kirk. I pray it's not true. I pray that what she says about Erica Kirk is not true. And I look at Erica Kirk's behavior when Charlie died, and yeah, it was odd to me. But then I'm like, well, people grieve differently. I can't tell you that I know how to people grieve, because, I didn't grieve when my brother died. I didn't grieve the same way as other people did. Some people held it in. Some people, I wondered whether or not they ever loved my brother at all. I mean, there's just a lot of things that went through my mind. So under a microscope, which Erica Kirk is under a microscope, how is she supposed to react? She took over as the CEO of a large organization, and frankly, one that Charlie, just a couple weeks before he died, has said that they were basically going to doge the TPUSA. He wanted to change it. He didn't like the direction or the ethos of how the organization was going, and he didn't like the fact that people had taken control of him. Now, Andrew Wilson comes out and says, I'll have a debate with Candace Owens, and people got on one side of the fence or the other. But about 99% of them never watched the entire video. They didn't. 99% of them never sat down and watched Candace Owens on video and the things that she said or the things that she investigates. Now, in a vacuum, you have two sides. One that wrote, literally, I went through X and I started just reading it. One said, Andrew Wilson decimates Candace Owens. Then I went to another one and it said, Candace Owens decimates Andrew Wilson, embarrasses him, wrecks him. He spends his entire time crashing out on the show. I'm just going to tell you right now, it made me go, all right, let's watch the whole thing. So I did. I watched the whole thing. The smart thing about Candace Owens is she waited until she was big enough to where it'd be really noticeable if you took away her ability to speak. I really wasn't on the stage, so my ability to speak and what they took away from me, they just do it naturally. And but then they took another shot at taking away her ability to speak. She went after Ben Shapiro because obviously Ben Shapiro is kind of a little moron. And frankly, anybody that tries to convince people to get a COVID vaccine that's an influencer is diabolical in my viewpoint. You can say things like, hey, look, do what you want to do. And that would be acceptable. But trying to force people and calling them retarded or stupid for not getting it shows me you're just an agent of the state. And I think in large part, that's what Candace called out. But you have this group of influencers that gets their influence and gets their credibility from other influencers. Like literally, we are run by an information groupies cartel that tells us what we can and cannot think, what we can and cannot follow. But Andrew had never gone through the case. And if you saw that clip or any other clip, it proves a couple of things. One, he's a talking head. And you could say anything you want about Candace. You could say whatever you want. You could say, I like her, I dislike her, I don't think she's terrible, she's batshit crazy, right? She's a mother, so I mean, you just heard it from Jesse. Most mothers are batshit crazy. Perfect. But she knows the case from one end to the other. She took the time. She truly loved Charlie Kirk. His death affected her in ways that she can't quantify. And her mechanism for her protectionism mechanism was get to the bottom of it. And we find ourselves every day talking about things that don't make sense. And I don't believe in coincidences. Coincidences are not true. You don't have coincidence after coincidence. It's like the quadrillion on the elections happening in the way that they do inside the United States. A quadrillion to one. And they say that it's coincidence. Well, it's not. So I got some clips from both sides, and I wanted to play them. And both sides claim victory. Now, I'm just going to tell you what I think you should do, and I think you should go back and watch the entire interview. So whatever the guy's name is, JPB or whatever the guy, by the way, 3 years ago, he wasn't even on the scene. They like manufactured, they literally built his persona over the last 3 to 5 years. I didn't know who he was. Now he's moderating. They all literally give themselves credibility. They sign up for this CAA. Just watch this. This is Andrew Wilson claims never before seen messages of Charlie Kirk that Candace had. Play it.
There is, however, tons of evidence that a leftist killed Charlie Kirk, just as Charlie feared they would. I believe Charlie Kirk, and I have the receipts. No, I didn't have a dream where he came to me and told me that the left killed him. No, he didn't come to me a dream and say, Candace Owens betrayed him. That never happened. In fact, I don't need dreams of any kind because I hold in my possession never before seen messages from Charlie Kirk to his security team on September 9th, 2025. I'm going to share the message with you today, which is the first time this information's ever been publicly revealed. On September 9th, Charlie's security team wrote to him, yes, law enforcement has been fully supportive and agreed to a security plan and posture. Tomorrow's event will be covered by both my team and the campus PD. If additional support is required, patrol units will be available. I have 11 on site. Charlie responded with this, okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me. That was a message sent September 9th. Whatever could he have meant by that? Well, I think he meant exactly what he said, that he was worried the left was going to try to kill him.
So you had guys that came out that said they supported Candace. You had people that came out and said they supported Andrew. Then you had Turning Point USA that we saw this. Candace put this up that talks about Turning Point USA claims their horse. Like we didn't already know. And that was the video we just talked about. So here's the problem. Charlie's dead. Look, I got in a debate. Kyle Seraphin and I were sitting here talking about this, and I'm like, Kyle, Charlie was not shot by a 308 or 30-06, excuse me. And he's like, wow, they couldn't confirm it. I said, just another reason why it wasn't shot with the 30-06. I mean, you would have enough evidence. They said, well, they found fragments. That's not the way a 30-06 that stays in the body that has one entrance room works. They basically check the body, they find out where the metal is, and they extract the metal. It's really simple. Charlie's dead, and there's a lot of circumstances surrounding the entire event where there was a man that stood up in the back. As soon as Charlie was killed, a man stood up in the back and he like drops his pants or something. I can't remember what exactly happened. I'll go check it out. I should have been prepared for this part. And he said, I did it. I did it. Now, I was told today, and I don't know if this is true, I need to check it as well, that he was the same guy that was at the World Trade Center and that he was one of the first people to give interviews. And this guy happened to be there. I don't know if that is true, but here's what I didn't know is true. Soon after that, there was another false flag of somebody walking around noticeably holding a gun inside the town, right outside. And then you had Kash Patel that 15 minutes later is like, we caught him. We know we caught him. We saw the picture of it. I got on the phone and I'm like, it's an air rifle. It's a fake gun. So you got the guy with the fake gun that's out there. You have the chatter that's out there saying that something's going to happen to Charlie Kirk. I mean, they predicted it. You have the people that basically ran interference. And then you have Robinson with a 308 that at 230 yards didn't make it out the backside of his neck. It doesn't make sense. And then you had Tyler Robinson jump off of the building, and then they said, hey, a video of him breaking down the gun, and I'm like, okay, show me that. But then I can't. I walk through, and I remember saying this within 30 minutes. I got a phone call from Laura Logan that said, did you see? And I was like, yeah, somebody else from Turning Point had called me. And so I had all this stuff in my brain at the same time. And I remember saying, just as I got in the car, I was up in the mountains, that, they left the gun on the scene. If he was shot, wherever he was shot, it was hidden in the ceiling, wherever, but they left the gun there. And I remember watching the video over and over and over again. I was like, something doesn't look right. It just doesn't. There's this thing that happens when you shoot, and his shirt, how his shirt went up, and then how his body fell, and then the entry wound, and there's no exit. And so your everything in your brain goes to, what's the caliber? What do you think it was shot with? And then you listen to the sound of the shot that's fired, and you listen to it with different elements. I went through the whole thing. And by the way, I never ever got on this podcast and talked about the Charlie Kirk thing. I just didn't. I talk about Erica Kirk or anything else, because here's what I know is that she has 2 children. I don't believe that she's involved. But we have thousands of influencers all over Facebook and X and everything else that have an opinion. And they're like, Charlie was killed by Israel. And I say to myself, Charlie's killed by Israel. So you think Charlie's killed by Israel? Okay. Which part? Because Israel doesn't even get along with Israel. And, I asked this question to Halsey when he was on with me. I said, hey, you think I'm an anti-Semite? And the one thing I could tell to Jesse, I don't hate anybody. There's a couple of people that I want to hate. I hate on. I want to hurt them. But hate's not something that I want to live my life by. But out of the thousands of debaters that are out there or influencers are out there, and everyone's got an opinion, they want to mock and take a side against Candace and a side against all 4 Candace against Andrew. And you had Stu Peters that said that, that Candace Owens just destroyed her. You had other people that said that you had Andrew that put up a post. This guy, put up C5 for a minute. So Andrew, in all of his infinite wisdom, said every AI source will say I won. That was never in question. Specifically, AI programs built like this purpose judging debates will also say so. The polls are simply a reflection of who has the larger audience post debate. During the debate, I won those 2. It's not hard to understand. Yeah. This is crazy because now we're making AI the arbiter of reality. Don't have to think for yourself. Just let AI do it for you. I want to play this, though, because Alex Jones has entered the room. Alex Jones entered the room. Pro-Trump, anti-Trump. I don't even know what he is anymore these days. But he took the time to actually respond, Candace Owens. So let's hear what he has to say.
Candace Owens today decisively defeated Andrew Wilson, the champion the TPUSA put forward in the Charlie Kirk assassination cover-up debate, hosted by Patrick Bet-David. I did my regular syndicated show today, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and so I couldn't watch it then. But once I got off air, I watched it. And she slaughtered him. Absolutely slaughtered him. Now, I've seen Wilson before, and he's debated my son, and I saw him on Rogan, was familiar with him, and I've seen his tactics. A lot of his appeal to emotion, he just acts confident. That's what he does. And a lot of times he's debating a topic where he's on the right side, so he wins the debate because he's in the right. But she destroyed him. And I'm going to post right here with this same post here at Real Jones on X, the most defining moment where he got annihilated. She says, hey, name me the charges against the supposed assassin of Charlie Kirk. And he couldn't name it. She then, in the order of the charges listed, and they pull it up on ChatGPT, and she nailed it word for word with photographic memory. And he says, oh, you were using your phone, I think. You're on your phone. And she reaches over in her purse and pulls it out and gives it to Patrick Bet-David, and there were no text about it to her. So she destroyed him right there. Look, folks, I'm going to explain the keys here. They claim Tyler Robinson got on the roof, made this shot, put a 30-06 together, put a telescopic scope on it. That anybody that knows telescopic scopes know, you put them on, even if they were sighted in before, they don't even hit the paper at 100 yards. So the fact that he could do that, then they put the video out, it's 30-something seconds. He doesn't have time to put a rifle together and do that. It looks like he unfolds something, whoever it is. So the official story is not true. And I broke what Joe Kent's confirmed happened. This has been in the news. They've confirmed happened months after I broke it. That at a cabinet meeting 7 days after Charlie was killed, Kash Patel said, I have orders from the president. We're not looking at any foreign involvement or all the trans groups that said he'll be dead when he comes to town tomorrow.
The picture on the video that he's referring to does look like someone unfolded a gun. I have a pretty good idea, and I pray it's not true, but there's something wrong with there's a company out there that's called Fold AR. And Victor Marks, if you know about Victor Marks, he was first to the game when it came to Charlie Kirk. And Charlie is a very complimentary man. Like I met him in, I was with Mike Lindell, and I met him in at a Flashpoint USA meeting in Omaha, Nebraska. And I don't remember what it was, 2021, I think, 2021, 2020, 2021. And I flew in with Mike, and we were going to this deal. And he sits there and he just starts talking to me about things. And I told him what I thought about certain things. And he was overly complimentary. Someone walks up and he's like, hey, let me introduce you to my friend, Joe Oltmann. And I was like, hey, how you doing? So he said that I was his friend at the time. I wasn't his friend. I wasn't. I had just started talking to him. I mean, it was the first time I talked to him. I wasn't his friend. I wasn't his friend. But he flamboyantly likes to ingratiate himself to people. And frankly, he got paid to do certain things, and he ran an amazing organization. And you want to know about somebody that has a photographic memory and that can pull things from his memory and research, as a research junkie. I know because I'm a research junkie. It's Charlie Kirk. He's just amazing. He will go read a book. He'll spend 3-4 days reading a book, and then he'll read another book on the book that he just read in order to understand whether or not his confirmation bias and whether or not he believed something or didn't believe something is actually real. It's just who he is, right? And the guy is historically accurate and studies the Bible and understands the biblical nature of things. And also, for a guy that never went to school, he understood everything from biology to mathematics to, I mean, he was a genius. I think the guy was a genius. There's a guy that owns a company called Fold AR. And, Victor Marx is running for governor, and I didn't know any of this. I was never involved in anything to do with, this disparagement of Victor Marx. I ran for governor. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump in my both feet in. And so I did. And the lies that came out about me, but then I went back to, and I was at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. But the lies that came out about me from Victor Marx, and that he just is a flamboyant liar. And he's like, well, Charlie Kirk, this is where I had some hard time, kind of putting pieces together. He said, Charlie Kirk is my friend. And, I was his mentor. So I went back and watched the video where he said that. And I just remembered what Charlie Kirk did to me in front of somebody else that walked up and said, this is my friend, Joe Oltmann. I thought to myself, I'm not your friend. And normally I would say it, by the way. And I was like, well, I mean, friend's a stretch, but okay. I would say something like that. And I didn't say anything like that. I just kind of let it go because it's Charlie Kirk. And I was just paying attention. Now, the truth be told, one of the things that we talked about, he didn't find all that appealingly something to talk about. He didn't agree with me. And that was on election fraud. And, I was talking to him about what he said to a pastor out of Nevada. His name's Andy, out of Las Vegas area. His name's Andy. And Andy was at a pastor's meeting and ran a church and stood up and talked about the election machine, was basically showing evidence of the election fraud. And when he did this, something really strange happened. Charlie just got really combative and said that Andy was a Fed, which is super interesting because what you're actually saying is that Andy is CIA and that you're testing me, right? Because one of the things that Charlie was known for is, he liked interacting with kids because it was safe for him. It was safe because he knew that at least they weren't the CIA. They weren't people that are forcing him to act or say a certain thing or to adopt a certain narrative. But he got really agitated. And at that meeting that Andy was at, this was in 2022, was the head counsel for Dominion Voting Systems and a previous governor of Nevada, I believe. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it wasn't Nevada, but I think it was. I think it was Nevada. And he happened to be there and was flanking Charlie the entire meeting. Now, I wasn't at the meeting, but I got all this from Andy, and Andy took pictures and sent all the pictures over to me. And so I remember having a conversation with a few people, and I was like, listen, I think someone needs to have a conversation with Charlie. He's standing on the wrong side of history. Fast forward to Charlie's death. Charlie didn't set out to he didn't set out to hurt anyone, and the radical left could have picked 500 different people. They could have, if it was like some tranny group or, this narrative you have with Robinson, you could have any number of things that you would get to that wanted Charlie to die sooner than you could get to someone on the left. He was the most respectful person. We walked on a campus. He was respectful. And yeah, he had people that would stand against him because they just made up a narrative. And it was always by the same group of people. But he had a massive distrust for the people around him that were trying to convince him. And I know this because this is in 2021 or 2022. He said so much when we were sitting in the hallway of the church in Omaha, Nebraska. and he introduced me as his friend. Now, Victor Marks, he said, oh, he's a mentor, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But Victor Marks didn't know how to stop lying about me. And then you have, Kyle Clark. He's a big liar, said I'm an anti-Semite. That ruined a relationship that I had with the guy that did jujitsu. And then I had another guy over here that said, oh, he's racist. So I ruined that relationship. So I've had all these people that have tried to ruin relationships. I finally tell people to piss off. But then I don't know what it was, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I met the guy that owned Fold AR. And he comes out and he calls me and he says, I gotta talk to you about this stuff. And I went to dinner with him and we talked about the Fold AR. And then he talked about how guns disappeared and that Victor tried to buy a bunch of them so he could send them to different countries. And I'm like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. And then he talked about guns disappearing. And so I went back and I watched that video over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I was like, it's not a 30-06. It's not. It's a 6.5 and a foldable AR. 6.5 Creedmoor and a foldable AR. That's what he was shot with. So did Tyler Robinson do it? I don't know. Here's what I do know. He wasn't shot with a 30-06. It came from his grandfather. It never happened. It never happened. That never happened. The rest is all made up. Anything else that you tell me is all made up. But when I saw the video of the unfolding, I was like, holy crap, that's not 30-06. That's not someone bolting on a sight on top of an older gun, taking it apart, putting it back together. It's not real. But then I go, okay, wait a minute. But they know, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have said he took it apart. That means that they had to have something that showed someone putting something together. And you said Alex Jones, who looks at it as well. I've never talked to Alex Jones about this. And I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness in front of you right now, the only gun that could have done the damage to Charlie that was done to him in the way that it was done was either a explodable lapel mic that is not likely based on where it was, or a 6.5 Creedmoor. Those are your two choices. Not a 30-06. 30-06 would have tore out the back of his throat. It would have pulverized his neck. We are living in a world where they lie to us about everything. And so I just want to say this about Candace Owens. Go watch the video. I mean, what he said really was inconsequential to the deal. It didn't mean anything to me when he said, that when he said that he had these text messages when, one side won or the other side won. Andrew was noticeably uncomfortable, which means he lacked information. He did not understand what he was saying or what he was saying or how he was saying it. He was winging it in large part. He did not study the case like Candace Owens does. He did. And frankly, I don't think he knew anything about the Tyler Robinson case. And the other part about unfolding an AR, I had to go back and watch a video of the person that had this company unfolding an AR before I went, oh my gosh, it's the same gun. But the fact that they built the case around a 30-06 means somebody is lying about something and they know. And that someone put their hands up and said that they did it as a distraction means they know. They know. Somebody knows how and why Charlie Kirk was killed. That's true. And that text message that Andrew was talking about, it was directly tied. It was directly tied to the fact that they had to create a story that made you look over here rather than looking over here. And do I think Israel did it? I don't know. I don't know who did it. But I know who didn't do it. A 30-06 did not do it. So maybe Tyler had a 6.5 Creedmoor or a foldable AR that just so happened to be the same place that Victor Marks is hanging out over here, and and trying to work a deal to sell foldable ARs to different countries. And it happens to be that this guy's unfolding an AR on top of a building and doing all this stuff. They only had 30 seconds to do it. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a 30-06 and you're actually mounting a scope, a high-powered scope, you have zero chance, between 0 and negative 5,000, that you're going to be able to hit a piece of paper from 230 yards. He's right. You got to, at a minimum, bore sight it. You're not going to be able to walk in and just tap, 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 screw, 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 boom, you're ready to go, and you can shoot at 230 yards. It's not even possible. But they want you to they've expected you to adopt the impossible. But that's not the only thing they told you to adopt the impossible with. They told you to adopt the impossible with COVID, to adopt the impossible with weapons of mass destruction, and everything we turn around to adopt the impossible. Adopt the impossible that Ukraine could be the bad guy or the good guy and Russia bad. Adopt the impossible. Adopt the impossible. And we sit in the bottom, we talk about the elections, and we have so much evidence, and it never makes the light of day because you got retards in every form of government that are stopping us from getting to a place of common sense. That's all I know. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Believe nothing of what you hear from anyone when it relates to the government, related to what happens with Charlie Kirk or the elections or anything. We've just got to the point where we expect that we're going to be lied to. Candace Owens is not your enemy. Tucker Carlson is not your enemy. I don't know about some of the other people, but they're not. Go back and watch the video. And I actually don't think that Candace Owens wiped him up based on that particular piece. That's actually trivial compared to the rest of the conversation. But let's get into something if we can real quick. I want to get into the elections. I want to step away from Candace Owens a little bit. Although I will tell you, the Candace Owens part is hey, give me a 1-minute commercial break, will you?
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns. We keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
We received just a few weeks ago, January of 2023, the system log files from the tabulators that were used in Maricopa County on Election Day, along with the redacted CVR records. Through an analysis, we were able to determine that 250,000 ballot feeds misread by those tabulators. There are approximately 2 tabulators in every polling center, which means there were 446 tabulators with 250,000 voter attempt failures.
somebody who was in politics telling me when I first started, do not talk about the forensic audit. Don't talk about the 2020 election. Distance yourself from President Trump, and whatever you do, don't bring up COVID or question the vaccines or the mandates. And I looked at this guy and I basically kicked him out. And I took all of his suggestions and advice and I threw it in the trash can, and I immediately went down and I toured the forensic audit site and I started talking about our corrupt elections. And, you know, people have finally caught up. We're seeing some more evidence every single day come out.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. You ever had a moment of unclarity? Everything came rushing to you at once. That's what happened. But here's what we're talking about here. This confirms that the state government of Arizona was overthrown on November 8th, 2022. Now, they did this in 2020, they did it in 2018, 2016, 2014, 2012, 2010. They've been stealing elections for decades. But here's the problem with that is that they did it state by state. So you couldn't see it happening, and they used election systems that were made. And a guy that was a Congressman Feely, he was a Republican, not a Democrat. That's why you know for a fact that both sides are irrevocably broken. And until we get rid of machines and mail-in ballots, and until we get to a place where we can actually have transparent elections, which they desperately don't want. They want to do everything they can to steal the sovereignty that you have as a American. And if that's not true, how do you have systemic breakdowns and degradation across our entire society, all 50 states at the same time? You think that's how it works? It's not how it works. It's not how it works. Breakdown of education. How is that happening across all 50 states? I can tell you why. I can tell you how. You have to have people in positions of trust and authority that can stop people from getting access to education. It has to become systemic. It has to literally be institutionalized into an environment that stops you from having good education. Because I'm not just talking about the poor communities. I'm talking about kids that are graduating from suburbia that half of them can't read. Half. 21% of the U.S. population is borderline illiterate. 21%. And all of those people did not come from the deep south and inner cities. It's from every walk of society. The Department of Education came in. How do you think we got to radical leftist teachers in even conservative environments that were telling your kids to cut off their penises? That happened. We have got to get to a place where we restore reality, where we restore truth, and it has to be at all costs. And the people that are listening, look, I don't really want to get in a fight with anyone. I got to go defend a lawsuit with a judiciary that is so rotted to the core that it's not even recognizable. And when I talk to other judges that are said, I'm going to come forward. I have a judge, the sitting judge that wants to come forward. And man, I'm sitting here going through all the stuff. And I will protect you. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I protected an Antifa kid, and then I couldn't. And then I protected someone that gave me access to Coomer's Facebook post, and then I didn't because I couldn't, because they seem to just have these ways. And so now I'm sitting here going, I'm not sure I could protect the judge. And that was the question that was asked of me. Can you protect me? And I was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Imagine that. It's really bad. But don't worry, because your election systems are absolutely bulletproof. So bulletproof that an 11-year-old changed election results on a Florida State website, Secretary of State website, in under 10 minutes. 39 kids from age 6 to 17 attempted to hack replicas of the Secretary of State's websites of 6 swing states. 35 of the 39 kids were successful. How about that? The systems that we have, our election systems in this country are just, they're not even real. And that leads me to talk about this specifically. The entire system is gaslit and fraudulent. What did you expect to happen? The media is evil. The influencers, even on our side, are complicit. And the CIA runs and has its tentacles in everything. We've already had all this information for 6 years. It keeps coming out over and over again. And we keep saying to ourselves, good, this is just the last piece, the last piece. But there doesn't seem to be an appetite to do the right thing. The DOJ is literally apathetic to evil. It just plays for team evil. Let's talk about this. There's a actress, her name's Hayden Panettiere. She was found dead over the weekend. Lots of people are talking about this because just 3 months ago, she described what happened to her in good old Hollywood when she was 18. I'll let her describe it to you herself.
And it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this, like this was just, an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time. And I waited for her to leave, and I mean, that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening. But I had nowhere to hide, and I bolted, and I hid wherever I could think of to hide on a boat. There was no jumping off and swimming away, and there was nobody who was going to, I realized that there was nobody who was going to be empathetic to my situation, that this was nothing new to them.
These are the people that over and over again have told you, trust us, bro. And whether we're talking about elections or COVID or any number of things that they've been selling us in this Candyland world of make-believe, we have become the victims of really evil people and those that are complicit in those evil deeds. She talks about the woman putting her in bed with this rocker. Over the last 18 years, she's had to deal with these people. In order to stay relevant, you have to stay quiet. So she can talk about it. She's put out her memoir. She's 36 years old. And within a few months of her putting it out, she's dead. And over again, we have other people that just die as a result of the behavior of people around them. And they say that it's all coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in coincidences so much that there's nowhere that I go or nowhere that I don't have a gun sitting within a minute of me. In a drawer, on the desk, in a safe. And they figured, well, he's going to be a more difficult target for us than a 36-year-old girl that talks about being raped by Hollywood. And so in the middle of all that, they decide that they're going to do other things. They're going to defame me all the way to the end. They're going to just continue to do what they can to defame me. I find everything that I'm dealing with right now, the Coomer case, the affidavit, the fraud on the court, which unbelievably, the fraud on the court was so monumental that you would have to be a retarded judge not to side with the fraud on the court. You would have to be absolutely awful. And then on the fraud to the court then comes and asks what everyone else's position is on the filing from the other side, not on our side, but the filing from the other side. as if they had already just predetermined and had a conversation about where this was going to go. And I remember talking to the attorneys, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to DC now because I have to figure out why we're sitting on our hands right now. Why we're letting trash judges and trash special masters that are totally complicit in every degree in this crime family, why we're allowing them to continue. And yet there's, I have to play the waiting game. I hope Jesse's right. I hope I have absolute peace by forgiveness. That would be amazing. That would be really amazing. All right, we're done for the day. Thanks for sharing the last 2 hours with us. I apologize for not being here last week. I do want to tell you what I was up to. So I played golf 2 days in a row for the Special Forces Foundation. So I was out there hanging out with a bunch of GBs and retired GBs. And the organization does some pretty amazing things. It takes care of veterans. And I'm going to be doing a raffle. I don't know if I can call it a raffle of a pretty cool gun that I got donated and I bought it back, and then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and raffle off this gun. Paid a pretty price for it. It's one of 60 in the world. And anyway, so I'm going to do some stuff to help the Special Forces Foundation. I'm very grateful for the work that they've done. They continue to do. But I spent a couple of days golfing with them and just hearing about the stories of sacrifice, but also the stories that come after it when they get home and there's this empty house. So that's where I was for 2 days, hanging out with the Special Forces. It was fun. I had a good time. And I love supporting them. So if you get a chance to look at Special Forces Foundation, they're amazing. American Military Family, also another amazing organization. Debbie runs the American Military Family, and Pam is the one that does all the setting up and getting things done for the Special Forces Foundation. And Cody's pretty awesome too. And Calvin, just a bunch of people, just a bunch of really good people over at Special Forces Foundation. So that's where I was hanging out for a couple of days and taking care of them. So with that said, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Go check it out all over. And Roku. It's good to see you guys on Roku and on the website as well. I am very aware of the censoring that's happening. I got cut off from Facebook again because I put a thing up that said FGT. It's calling them basically a terrorist, and they thought it was derogatory, but they didn't know what the word meant. But you can't go into Facebook, so they suspended me for like the 5th time. So I've been suspended 5 times in the last 2 months or 3 months on Facebook. I just decided I'm not gonna post or respond to anybody anymore. I'm just gonna post my stuff and get on with it over there. So if you're watching, go ahead and share it. I also know what's happening with X. This new algorithm is pretty crazy. It went really well for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it went really bad, and it's gotten much worse. And they've just picked winners and losers. That's what they do on social media. And so I'm going to continue to just do what I do, and just we'll kind of just work our way through it. But I think there are a lot of good people, and I think that our message of goodness and truth is more and more being suppressed because they're in the final hour of knowing that they're not going to do anything about it. So we're going to end up having to do all the hard work. So just keep praying and keep fighting, and don't give up any ground. That's what I would tell you. So let's pray. Father God, we are grateful for the blessings that we have, and we're grateful for the time we were able to spend with Jesse today. And was kind of awestruck by the comments that he made in the middle of the podcast. But Father, I just ask you that if it's your will, it be done. Father, we bring this before you, looking at just what is happening in our world, and And it's pretty crazy stuff. And so we ask you to put a special blessing over our leaders, that they may be courageous and ethical and moral, and follow the needs of our society, but also that your will be done through them. Father, we ask you to put a hedge of protection around President Trump and to protect him from the grift of people that are trying to take from him and to force him into a place where he has to do things that go against the American people. We ask you, Father, to give us the ability to see straight to the bottom, even in murky water, and to be able to understand who our enemy is and to do whatever it takes to defeat the enemy, which is evil. So, Father, we are grateful for our time together. We're grateful for this podcast, and we're grateful that we have free enterprise and we can choose to be good people. And Father, we just ask you to protect us as we do that we can just finish well. I say these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. I will see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot again, very much. And I will talk to you later. See the comments about, well, hold on a second. Let me read the comments on that. Sharon Lee says, coming in late, Candace showed not one piece of evidence to prove anything, not knowing all charges is BS. So I agree with that part was BS. But she did come in with the evidence. And one of the things that was being talked about was the idea of, well, how do you have a folding gun? That's pretty crazy. So Victor Marks, Colt has been getting many Facebook and X accounts taken down. That is very true. They are doing it all day long. So now I just block them. There's so many holes in the story before forth on the CK assassination, so many. But lastly, the destroying of the crime scene. Yeah, that was a little weird. And Malcolm X called the media the most powerful thing in the world before social media was even a concept. That's diamond clarity. You're right. He did say that. Actually, he also said that the media can sway giants. And so it does have a really, really big power. Or like it's a power. It's a powerful leash to be able to hold on to. Susan Rice, good to see you. God bless you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you for that. Only the paranoid survive. Scum Kitty, I don't know. Smoke on the water. I don't know, Gammy, what you're talking about, but you're usually not wrong. So I'll leave it there. See what else I got here. Globalist master divide and conquer. For them, it's art. The left uses the state to sterilize children and abort babies at birth as the right in fights over who's killing them. Amazing. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Okay. Well, it's great to see you guys. I think I don't know what else is on there. Let me go check Pilled real quick. I'm going to come over there and say hi to you guys over there on Pilled. I'm still over on Pilled. There we go. Most prominent anti-Israel voices are communists, which are inherently Jewish. Kirk was beginning to question things, which was problematic. Yeah, he was beginning to question things. That's very true. I can't think of anyone. So Chops says this. Now, this is an interesting thought. I'm glad I came over here. I can't think of anyone that watched the Candace Andrew discussion and came away with a changed opinion. That's very true. It's very true. Now we get more and more entrenched, and that causes us to have more and more entrenchment in other things that we think about as well. So, Chops, that's a. Let me go ahead and give you a little up on that one. Eric Allen, I gave you one too. Yeah, I would agree with all of the things you just said. Made it for the last few seconds. Hello, everyone. Praying all of you have a blessed day and weekend. Praying for you and the family. Danster. Go back and watch the whole thing. It was pretty awesome. Who is Chris? Weird is not evidence. It doesn't matter. We don't have a right to throw the baby out with the bathwater, Chris. That's what I'm saying. I mean, how many times have people thrown me out with the bathwater because of some flamboyant bullshit that was made up by some other fake influencer who has never accomplished anything in their life. So I'm just telling you, just to be a purveyor of truth. And unfortunately, that means that you have to, I don't like what Candace did with Erica Kirk. I don't like it. But I also recognize that we have to walk softly and carry a big stick. That's what I think. All right. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up on your way out. Make sure you all do it. And I will see you. Candace presented was, I think, my feelings or my opinion, or I talked to, but no evidence. Yeah, I don't. Facts tell, stories sell. When you have a story devoid of facts, it's only persuasion. Candace is a pro at persuasion. Don't trust her. I would agree with those sentiment. I would agree with that she's a persuader. But who isn't in the influencer world? I show you facts, which are really inconvenient for a lot of people. Yeah. All right. Do your thing. All right. God bless you all. Have a great night. And remember to hit the share button. You're the ambassadors of truth, not me. Break it. Wreck it, Ralph, as I like to say it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave